Yo, how we doing? Gonna go over a couple things today. Um, I made a lot of mistakes when I started. A lot, right? I'm not shying away from that. I did. Um, it, it's really bad to make too many mistakes because like your first couple of years are going to be your most intense year for gains, so you want to make sure you can take advantage of them as much as you can, right? So don't slack off and think, okay, I'll do whatever and I'll grow. You're right, you'll grow, but will you grow as much as you could grow, right? That's the big question. But let's get into it. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 things I could think of that I wasn't really aware of. 10, that's a pretty good number, right? That's a good video title. 10 mistakes I made. So let's get into the first one. And honestly, you guys are kind of already doing this, so good on you. But it's not doing research, not putting in that extra bit of effort to really understand a movement or make sure I was doing things correctly, making sure I wasn't missing out, right? Like, you have an ego with these things. You think you know so much, and then you start getting into it, and you're like, I really don't know anything, right? Like, still now, I'm finding new things every day where I'm like, oh, I thought I didn't think I should care about that. But apparently you do sometimes, right? So yeah, just do your research before you do a movement. Watch a YouTube video about it. It's so helpful because, YouTube's there. It's a resource. Use it. You don't need to be watching YouTube too much and not taking action on some of the things you watch videos about, right? But no, getting into our next one's ego lifting, right? I did this a lot. Like, just throwing weights around, like curls. It would be like, woo, woo, woo. Like, the movements would be terrible, right? Don't do that. You're just setting yourself up for an injury, and then best case scenario, you're out of the gym for like a couple months, because, like, yeah, you were lifting terribly and you weren't watching what you were doing, and then that led to injuries, right? So don't ego lift. Do really strict movements, like use tempo. If you don't know what tempo is, usually it operates on 3 numbers. So 3, 1, 1. That means 3 seconds down, 1 second pause, and 1 second up. So just controlling the movements, making sure you understand it, not just doing everything super explosive if you don't know how to do it in an explosive way, right? So yeah, be careful with that, guys. The next one I'll go into, number 3 here. Progressive overload. Take advantage of it. To those of you that don't know, this helps with gains a lot, right? Now in the fitness space, it's just, it's a buzzword. It goes off all the time. But, increase your weight by like 2.5, 3, 5 pounds every week. If you're doing really good, maybe 10 pounds, but that's if you're feeling really good. So, yeah, progressive overload, very good for that stuff. Yeah, do it on all movements. Don't just do it on bench and flies, but go up. But figure out your form first, as I said in the previous one. Don't ego lift the weight. Don't spleen press rather than bench press it, because then, yeah, you're just setting yourself up for another injury. Not fun. But let's get into number 5 we're on. Okay. I wasn't tracking my macros. Like it's something most people I find aren't doing. Like, they're like, yeah, I'm just eating a lot. I'm on the bulk. I'm like, yeah, you're eating a lot, but what kind of calories are you eating? Are you just consuming your fats? Are you not even tracking what you're eating? Like, there's so many things where I'm like, what are you doing? You're not even, like, what? Like, you need to track these carbs, fats, and proteins, right? Even if I go up to a guy and they say you're just tracking protein, good start, right? But then you don't know if you're cutting or you're bulking, right? You can say you're bulking because you feel full, but realistically, you might just be hitting your maintenance, or you might be undershooting it. It depends on how your gut works. So track your macros, man. Don't skip out on them, right? Like, that's something I could have made phenomenal gains in high school if I just were to track them. My senior year would have looked so much different if I just took initiative, realized, okay, I'm not tracking my meals, and I don't know much about nutrition. Do research. I have other videos on nutrition. Check them out. Check out other people too. Like, nutrition is essential, right? But getting into number 6 now. Cardio. I wasn't doing any cardio. Since I was bulking or building muscle, I was like, okay, I shouldn't need cardio. But then you realize you're not even burning any calories. An average exercise or workout with weights only burns 75 to 300 calories, right? It's not a lot. With cardio, you can burn 300 calories in 20 minutes. So an hour of lifting, like at most 300 calories, and that's if you're really pushing it, which most people are. I'm not even burning 300 calories a workout, maybe like 150, 200. But, like, don't skip out on cardio, man. And it's good to just be in shape, even as you're bulking up, right? Because you can still gain muscle while doing cardio, right? It's just when you're cutting, you do a little more cardio because you're trying to burn a little more fat. But, yeah, don't skip out on cardio, you know. Along with warming up, too. This is a whole one I shouldn't do, but I didn't write it down, but I just got thinking about it because of running and walking and stairs. Warm up before your sets. Warm up before your whole workout, right? Like, do like 3 minutes of walking on the treadmill and stretch. At least take 5 minutes doing that because you're going to feel better, your workout's going to be nicer, everything's just going to be better. So, do it. But, next one. Not taking rest days. I was like big into go, push, and then you look on it and then you're like, why did my maxes stopping? Like, you have this progress for a while, which you're gonna because you guys are getting into it and newbie lifters, and then eventually it's just all gonna halt because you weren't resting, at least not efficiently. 1 or 2 rest days is great. You need that to recover and recomp and build back up that stuff, you know? But, yeah, take rest days at least once a week. At least once, right? And it really depends on how much you are training in the gym. And 5, 6 days, 4 days, even 3 or 2, you know. Depends on how many rest days you're taking and how hard you should be hitting it in the gym. But don't skip out on rest days. Don't work out every day. Yeah, it's just not sustainable. But the next one is my rep ranges. I didn't really care about my rep ranges. I was just like, okay, let's do weight and we'll see how much weight I get up here. Yeah, no. Track your reps, right? The ideal range is between 6 and 15 because once you pass about 7 reps or more, that's when your muscles really start tensing up and really get a good stretch and you really can grow them. Below that, I mean, it's good for strength, but realistically, the size isn't going to grow as much as, you know, if you were to really get down and go up to that 7th rep and really you start feeling the stretch and you start feeling the stuff kick in a bit more. Really good. Yeah. Make sure you're doing that rep range, right? It's not all about, like, high reps aren't always going to give you bigger muscles, too. It's how you do them, the reps. Same with lower reps, too. Right? A lot of factors. It's not high reps equals toning muscle or low reps equals building strength all the time, right? There's a lot of different factors. But next, and this is number 8 or 9 if you count that warm-up one I put in there. Don't rely on soreness to see if you have a good workout. Soreness, if you're often feeling too sore, like say you just hit legs yesterday and then the next day your back and your back's hurting. Clearly you weren't hitting the muscles you wanted to hit. No, that's not how you want to go. But no, don't rely always on soreness. That doesn't mean you always have a good workout if you're feeling sore the next day. It can mean you are doing pretty good. but it's not everything, right? It's soreness is pretty complicated, but all I can say is don't rely on it. If you know you got a good workout and you knew you were pushing hard, yeah, that's all you need to go. You don't need to go 10 times harder and go stay in the gym for an extra 3 hours just because you don't feel as sore as you might want to be, you know. The next one, last one I'll get into here, and I don't think any more will come up, but don't always go to failure, right? You'll hear this from Mike Menser and all these guys a lot, and, you know, failure's good to get to, but don't do it every set. Do it on your third set, or your last set, I should say, third or fourth set. And that should be with ISO, lateral movements and stuff like that. And movements where they're just focusing on one muscle, like a bicep curl, it's just focusing on your bicep. But a bench press, I wouldn't necessarily always go to failure on it, right? Unless you're really trying to build your chest, but compound movements aren't the best for failure. That leads to a lot of injuries, like dips. So be careful with that. But don't be afraid to push your last set to failure, but don't do it every set, because you can burn out really fast. But there you go. That's about 10 or so mistakes I made when I started lifting. And if you guys followed this guide, immediately, like, great results in the next year or two of training. And, you know, if science updates and some crazy thing happens where they find out new information, sorry, but I mean, that's pretty much about it, guys. Apply all these, you're gonna get insane results and insane gains. So you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay busy and keep getting after it. Stay consistent. All right, that's what we do. But have a great day. Peace.